Hello, Gold Derby fans. And you know what? It's the nominations for the 2021 Emmy Awards. And I'm Marcus James Dixon. I'm here with Daniel Montgomery. Daniel, I think you tied for first place amongst the editors. Is that right?
I did, although I will say that I got first place among the editors for points, but for percentage, I did tie with Matt Noble and Tom O'Neill.
Very good. We're not going to talk about my score. Let's just move
We
on.
all did fine.
Yes, we did.
Everyone, among the editors, between first place and last place is a difference of 11 correct predictions out of 142. So it was all fairly close.
And there's so many categories, and there's also so many nominees within each category that, it's great that you got all of the ones right that you did. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I whiffed a few though. I definitely got a couple of gets, but I whiffed a few.
Well, what ones are you proud about? Like, what did you call?
I called Thomas Brody Sangster for Queen's Gambit. I'm trying to look at my list and see everything. I missed Girls 5 Eva. I thought it would do better than it did. I only got 2 comedy actresses right.
Oh wow.
Comedy actor I got, and I got William H. Macy for Shameless.
I had him in, and then I took him out, and then I can't remember if I put him back in again.
I didn't realize I had Adie Bryant for supporting actress.
But not for Shrill. I mean, she was way down the list for Shrill. Congrats to her getting 2 nominations.
I got Jeremy Swift for Ted Lasso. I actually correctly predicted that those 4 Ted Lasso actors would get in. Anything else impressive? I only got 2 comedy guest actors.
Ooh, that's
I went on a limb for Perry Mason and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier for drama series, and I should have just gone with the odds there.
Well, let's talk about the big stories of the day. HBO Max, they get 130 nominations, which is one more than Netflix at 129. Third place, there's a...
And Netflix might want a recount because they're counting HBO and HBO Max together. If you count them separately, then Netflix comes out on top.
That's a good point.
HBO and HBO Max are kind of interchangeable. It just depends on which one goes on TV and which one just streams first. They're all on HBO Max in the end.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And then you have at third place Disney Plus 71 nominations, which is a steep decline from Netflix. NBC has 46, thanks mostly to SNL. Yeah. And then Apple TV Plus 34. So those are your top.
Thanks mostly to Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I think 20 nominations for Ted Lasso.
20 nominations for Ted Lasso. It's one of, I think there were 5 shows that had 20 plus, which was actually a lot of shows to have that many. It's The Crown and The Mandalorian tied with 24. Then Wanda Vision, which we will certainly talk about, has 23. It's the most nominated long form program. SNL and Handmaid's Tale have 21. And Ted Lasso has 20. So I think that's 6 shows that have 20 or more nominations.
Yes, I'm counting right now. That's right. And then your favorite, Lovecraft, is right behind 18 nominations. The canceled Lovecraft Country, everybody.
Which God bless HBO for announcing that cancellation after voting.
You know what, though? I could see it win nothing. I really could.
I could see it win nothing. I could also see it win something in craft. I feel like it has so many nominations. It's certainly got a shot. And with that many nominations, I think Michael K. Williams could win supporting actor. Although he's got a face Tobias Menzies. Although I don't know, of all the Crown actors, I don't know that he's the one who has a lot of enthusiasm behind him. Courtney B. Vance for guest actor also. So it's got some shots.
Well, before we talk about some of the individual categories, I want to hear, what show are you most happy with that got nominated? And then which actor, actress are you most happy with?
Well, we already talked about my favorite show that got in, Lovecraft Country, just because I thought it aired so long ago. It didn't, even before it got canceled, there was no news about a second season. I interviewed, some of the cast members and some of the crew. None of them knew if the show was coming back at the time. So it was the show that was in limbo, and I didn't know if it was just going to disappear from everyone's radar. And much to my surprise, not only did it get all the nominations we were expecting for it, with a couple of variations, like supporting actress got a different supporting actress than we thought. But it got so much more than I thought it would get. Like it's a craft heavy show, and it showed up in a lot of crafts. It got a writing nomination for Misha Green. And other craft heavy shows like The Boys, which got in for Best Drama Series, didn't do that well across the board. So the fact that Lovecraft Country got that much is really, really a good, a strong show of support that I'm very gratified by. My individual choice.
Wait, I want to say one thing about Lovecraft. Somebody just yesterday was asking, what show do you think Gold Derby is overestimating? And I said, I think Lovecraft. It aired so long ago, it's not coming back, and it's a genre sci-fi show, and they don't like those. And I was very surprised to see it get as much as it did.
Yeah, I think it probably benefited from one, like Watchmen setting the precedent. It had a lot of that sort of flavor of the social commentary with the kind of sci-fi elements. And also it probably picked up support from, because Stranger Things wasn't here, Westworld wasn't here. So a lot of those Academy members who are more open to the genre programs could really funnel that support here. So I think that probably helped it. And my individual choice for my favorite individual nominee is Jonathan Groff. And 40% of my appreciation of that is for his nomination for Hamilton, and the other 60% is that he's finally an Emmy nominee after years of not getting in for looking. So I could die happy now. Jonathan Groff has a Primetime Emmy nomination for his Tony-winning role. He could end up with a Tony, an Emmy, and a Grammy for Hamilton, as could the rest of the Hamilton cast.
I love Hamilton on Disney Plus. I hadn't seen it in the theater, but it was one of my favorite things of the year. I'm glad it got a lot of nominations. I do think, it's kind of sad that so many actors got in at the detriment of other actors who actually, did something for television as opposed to, a Broadway show that was filmed. But that's a story for another day. So my favorite show that got in was The Boys. I know we were predicting it at Gold Derby, 7th or 8th place. But when it was named, it was the first one in that category that was named, I actually screamed and shouted. I was very happy. My individual that I'm proudest about is somebody that I think deserved a nomination for American Horror Story Cult. He was robbed big time. Evan Peters, he finally gets in, this time Mayor of Easttown. And I mean, he could win. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Let me see his nominee.
I mean, he could, anyone could win that category, because our two front runners in that category, and this is a mea culpa on behalf of Gold Derby, our two front runners, John Boyega for Small Axe and Bill Camp for The Queen's Gambit, neither of them was nominated. So
yeah,
it really opens up the race.
And looking at the race, there's not a front runner. I mean, you have Anthony Ramos, Jonathan Groff, David Diggs from Hamilton, that could be a vote split. And then you have Thomas Brody Sangster, Queen's Gambit, who doesn't have the most famous name in the world.
Although he's been working since he was a child, like he's been around.
Right. And then how do you pronounce Papa
Essiedu?
He's really good. He could do it. So I think it's between him and Evan.
I think David Diggs could take this. It's like David Diggs was nominated against two cast members at the Tonys also, Jonathan Groff, and the Tonys nominated Christopher Jackson, while the Emmys third Hamilton nominee is Anthony Ramos. He's the most prominent of those nominated Hamilton actors. He got the SAG nomination against lead and supporting actors. He got the SAG nomination over Leslie Odom and Lin-Manuel Miranda, which is especially impressive.
But
so I think
Ramos
he could do it.
is in Treatment and In the Heights, and he got nominated for this.
True,
so
but they definitely watched this. And if you watch it, you'll know that of those three nominees for Hamilton, Anthony Ramos is the least prominent cast member. Which I think will hurt. Like if it were a pure name check, now that like he has the sudden recognition, which I think helped him get the nomination, I don't think it'll help him get the win. So I think it might be between David and maybe Evan.
Yes, Evan. So some other surprises. These are things that Gold Derby did not predict. but maybe you did at home. Cobra Kai, Emily in Paris for comedy series. We did not see
Emily
that.
in Paris was wild. It
That was
has
wild.
one other nomination.
Because Emily in Paris got a lot of flack when it was nominated at the Globes. People accused the Globe voters of voting for it because they got a free trip to Paris. And now here the Emmys are saying, no, we like it too.
Netflix must have invited the same TV Academy members to that flight.
All of the drama series we predicted, all 8, all of the TV movies and limited series.
I did not, alas. I was pessimistic about The Boys. I didn't think that was going to happen. But
I was pessimistic too. I put it in maybe because I was hoping it would get in. It was my favorite show of that year. Some of the leads that we didn't predict: Allison Janney for Mom, A.D. Bryant for Shrill, William H. Macy for Shameless. I know you did, but overall, collectively, we did not. We got all of the drama leads, which is good. We missed one movie mini lead, Leslie Odom Jr. for Hamilton.
Yeah, and I think I was predicting him, him and Lin-Manuel, but like that's a category where it's like, ooh, I cleverly predicted this, but I also thought Ethan Hawke was going to win. And he didn't get nominated.
Well,
it's so weird how many of our front runners didn't get nominated.
Ethan Hawke gave one of the best performances of 2020, hands down.
He really should have been in there. Like,
I cannot believe he also got snubbed at Critics' Choice, which I thought was a fluke. But no, this is clearly a pattern now that we're overestimating him everywhere. Ethan, you did great. Ignore what these stupid Emmy voters did.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Like, I feel like I feel like Showtime got hurt. Like, Showtime feels a little bit like this year's Stars, like a network that is just not on voters' radar this year. Like 10 years ago when they had stuff like Homeland, like they were doing really well across the board, but now they don't really have that kind of hot marquee show. And so when there's a really great limited series on Showtime, I feel like it's invisible to a lot of voters who are just not keyed into it. Like, because Comey Rule also, like 0 nominations for Comey Rule, not in a single. At least Good Lord Bird got like a main title design nomination, but nothing for Comey Rule.
That's such a bummer because Comey was really, really good. I wonder if it just came out, too long ago. It was November, right?
Maybe, but I May Destroy You came out over a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
And it did really well.
One thing I wanted to mention, Sterling K. Brown, he got 2 nominations. He got This Is Us and he got narrator for Lincoln. He's done this before. He got in for This Is Us and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think.
Yeah, and then he got in for This Is Us and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, so this is his 3rd time.
Yeah, he tends to show up at a couple places.
What other nominations do you want to kind of point out here?
Well, we haven't talked about Wanda Vision, which was another show like like The Boys, like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like even Lovecraft Country, where you're like, this is not like usual Emmy fare. Like, are the Emmys going to go for this? And not only did they go for it, they went all in for it. Like, I wasn't sure Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen were going to get in. They got in. I wasn't sure the show was going to get in for the limited series. It got in. But then 3 writing nominations and nothing for small acts there. No Underground Railroad for writing, but 3 writing nominations for WandaVision. And I had worried that, WandaVision over-submitted to writing, so they're probably going to get hurt there. And it might hurt them for the win with vote splitting, but it definitely helped them with the nominations. They're nominated just everywhere you could imagine. And just compare it to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier got like the 1 acting nomination for Don Cheadle as a guest actor. I thought Falcon would do better than it did. I thought WandaVision would do worse than it did. So it kind of averages out, but in a weird lopsided direction.
No Julie Louis-Dreyfus. I'm just realizing this.
No Julie Louis-Dreyfus. I thought Daniel Bruhl would get in for support. Like, I thought one of those supporting actors would get in. But yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier only has total of 5 nominations compared to WandaVision's 23.
I will say
that WandaVision was all about TV.
Yeah, I was just going to add, WandaVision, it does have the sci-fi element, which there are clearly a lot of fans within the Academy that love that. But it was a tribute to television. It's like every episode was a different decade of, just honoring these shows that we all grew up on. And I think that helped a lot with maybe the older voters who don't love the sci-fi fantasy stuff. They could still watch this and go like, oh my gosh, they're paying tribute to some of the shows I used to watch. So I think that really helped it.
Yeah, a couple of snubs that I noticed. They brought Conan back in for his last year.
Yeah.
At the expense of the only woman who has been in that category for a while, Samantha Bee. And they not only dropped her out of that, she missed out for writing also. Full Frontal only has like 2 nominations, and I think one of them is for like a short form special that they did, like online. So I was really disappointed in that, just to see, I'm glad to see Conan back, but I wish it weren't at the expense of Samantha Bee. When you only have one when you only have one non-male nominee in there, and now there are none. Although for writing, they did bring in 2 shows led by women of color. You had Black Lady Sketch Show and the Amber Ruffin Show, which was kind of a surprise.
Yvette Nicole Brown finally gets a nomination. I had to actually look it up. Like, is this her first nomination ever? And it was. I'm so proud of her. I just love her with everything she does. We need to talk about Handmaid's Tale because we all knew this would do okay, but some of the nominations that we were not predicting, Max Minghella, how do you pronounce it? Oti
Fagbenley. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I apologize. Congratulations on your nomination, which, to make it up to you, I predicted.
I did not. It's hard to predict someone when they get snubbed year after year after year.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, like, if you know they like a show, and it might not be the first time I've predicted them for a nomination, but if you know they like a show, then they might check off a name, because you can check off as many names as you want in the nomination round. You're not limited to like 8 slots. You don't have to just pick 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like The Handmaid's Tale, and especially with a lot of shows that are not eligible this year, I was looking in our prediction center. I was like, well, who's likely to get in one of these slots? And I was like, oh, OT hasn't been nominated yet. The category is kind of thin with a lot of like Succession's out. So that's a lot of nominations out. So I thought, okay, they'll bring him in. I did not predict Max Minghella. So the only ones I predicted from Handmaids were him and Bradley Whitford.
I think it was the Spiral Saw fans that put Max over the edge. Elizabeth gets in, and then
4 supporting actresses.
Bradley Whitford is back. I'm going through the list. Madeline Brewer. This is her first nomination, and this is the best season she's ever had. I mean, she had a whole episode basically to herself. About halfway through, I think I was predicting her, or if not, I was thinking about doing it, and now I'm regretting not doing it.
Yeah, I was a couple shy of predicting the whole Handmaid's Tale sweep there. I predicted the 2 supporting actors, but not Max. I predicted the 3 supporting actresses, but not Madeline. I think I was predicting the 3. It's like there's so many of them that I wasn't sure like how many to put in.
And Yvonne Strahovski, Samira Wiley, and they got little McKenna Grace, right?
McKenna Grace got in along with Alexis Bledel for guest actress. Did they have anyone for guest actor? I don't think so.
Sorry, guys. There's a lot of information to go through here.
Yeah, we have literally just like, there are like 100 categories, and we are processing them like in real time. You are watching our brains function or malfunction, depending on how you look at it, live. So you should really appreciate this inside look into the Gold Derby mindset.
This Is Us is back in drama, but no Justin Hartley. What does he have to do?
They brought Chris Sullivan back in, and still no Justin Hartley.
That hurts my soul a little bit. I love Chris Sullivan, but this was Justin Hartley's year. He even did the right thing by going back to supporting. He tried lead last year, didn't work. I can't believe they snubbed him. I'm shocked.
I feel like, if Tom O'Neill were on here, he would talk about like the slap the stud syndrome, where if you're too like hunky and attractive, and male, voters will hold it against you. But Sterling K. Brown is at least as hunky as Justin Hartley, and Sterling K. Brown, as we've mentioned, gets in multiple times per year. So yeah, it's really weird. Like every main member of that family has gotten in at least once, except Dustin Hartley.
Yeah. Susan,
So
let you watching is still waiting for her bid. It'll come
yeah,
someday. I hear people screaming at us. We have not talked about Pose, and I'm trying to get the total here.
9. It has 9 total, which is its largest haul in a single year. It got writing and directing. I think those might be its first writing and directing nominations ever. It got Billy Porter back in, but I really feel like it got back into drama series. But I feel like the headline is MJ Rodriguez getting in for Best Drama Actress, the first like trans performer to be nominated for lead acting Emmy. And not that long after Laverne Cox became the first openly trans performer to earn any Emmy acting nomination, and that was, she was nominated 4 times in guest categories. So this is the first time even in regular categories that MJ Rodriguez accomplishes it. Only a few years after Jeffrey Tambor won 2 Emmys, a cisgender actor for playing a trans character on Transparent. Now a transgender woman of color is nominated for lead actress for playing a transgender woman of color. If she wins, she'll be only the 3rd Black actress to win Drama Actress. She'll be the first Afro-Latina to win Best Drama Actress. So all of that on top of being the first trans nominee in that category. So that was a close second behind Jonathan Groff of my favorite individual nominee of the whole nominee.
It makes me extra sad that Pose is over. I mean, I think the show had so much life that it could have kept going. But this is, I mean, talk about a goodbye hug, which we often do at Gold Derby. When a show ends at the right time, they sometimes get rewarded, more than ever in the past, like Friday Night Lights and The Americans and Schitt's Creek. Anyone last year?
Yeah, it's a first year or a last year thing. Sometimes you get a bump. Unless you're The Crown, and then you get like right in the middle of your run, year 4, you almost double your nominations.
No Sarah Paulson for Ratchet, which, I mean, she got in at the Globes when there were only 5 nominations. So it was possible for her to get in.
Yeah, that was a show that felt like it was gonna be a Globes thing just because it was brand new at the time, had a lot of buzz. I do think the fact that it came out a while ago and the reviews were pretty tepid. It didn't seem like something that was going to be likely to have staying power by Emmy nominations, although it did get Sophie Okonedo in for guest.
Yes, I predicted her. I did. I was very happy.
So,
she plays the multiple personalities, which Emmy voters love that, going back to Tatiana Maslany
and Cynthia Nixon actually won that category, Best Drama Guest Actress, for playing a character with multiple personalities, or she was faking multiple personalities. I can't remember, but in an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit, she won a guest acting Emmy in that.
I need to add her to my list. And there's Toni Collette for United States Shades of Terra. I'm looking through the snubs now. Pedro Pascal for Mandalorian. The show gets 24 nominations and no lead actor. I mean,
next season the show just needs to like he needs to have his mask stolen, his helmet stolen, and then he spends the whole season searching for it because like when the title character doesn't show his face except for like on a couple of occasions, it's hard to get that nomination, I think. And I think he was close. I think he was probably like 7th. I was very close to predicting for a nomination over, like, I thought maybe Jonathan Majors might be vulnerable. I thought that might be a spot. But like, I think he was close.
Who's more shocking actually than Pedro? I had Mark Hamill winning for drama guest actor. I mean, he played freaking Luke Skywalker. And
that might be a motion because they altered his face to become young again, I think, right?
And he was actually there on set, as far as I know.
True, but it's probably something that the actors branch decided. Is this? Are we awarding him for his performance, or are we awarding good CGI and animation?
Yeah,
it's like the Andy Serkis problem.
Do you want to talk about who we think is going to win in some of these categories? I mean, we will come back and do many more slugfest, everyone, between now and September, but maybe just give your initial thoughts. I mean, is it going to be The Crown and Ted Lasso? Probably.
Probably. I will say before that one snub, I again, my brain's fried. I can't remember how much we've even talked about it, but Small Axe. Oh my, like to get a go from winning Los Angeles Film Critics Best Picture to 1 Emmy nomination for cinematography is a little wild. And I'm not a fan of that complete snub. But for a drama series, I think drama series actually looks a little bit more competitive than it did before.
Between The Crown and what?
Between The Crown, I think it's a 3-way race now. I think The Crown is still out front. Like it's been gobbling up everything over the spring, like Writers Guild, Directors Guild, Producers Guild, SAG. But The Mandalorian not only tied it for the most nominations, but it got like the crucial nominations for writing, for directing, it has 3 acting nominations. And for like it has like 4 editing nominations, and I think it's up for casting. So it's like everywhere. And Handmaid's Tale is too, writing, directing. Like 700 different actors from that show are nominated.
The acting branch loves Handmaid's Tale. I mean,
and they always have.
How many actors have won? Bradley Whitford, Elizabeth Moss, Ann Dowd, Alexis
Cherry
Bledel,
Jones.
Cherry Jones.
Cherry Jones, yeah. It doesn't win like for a while it had never lost, like for like 1 or 2 seasons it had never lost an acting award, an acting category, and it has since lost a couple of acting categories, but it just keeps throwing a bunch of nominations out there. It's like the anti Game of Thrones, where Game of Thrones would always get 1 billion acting nominations and never win. Handmaid's Tale gets 1 billion nominations and it usually wins a couple.
So here's my theory. I think The Handmaid's Tale has the acting branch, The Mandalorian has the tech branch, The Crown has both. So I think that's why The Crown's going to win. And
the writers and directors possibly, because The Crown has already won for directing in the past. So we know it has support there. I do think it's still The Crown, but I don't think it's as open and shut as it looked. Like these nominations could have looked really lopsided. Like Handmaid's Tale really dropped off last year in the nominations. I think it had 10 last year, and this year it's back up to 21. So if Handmaid's Tale had stayed kind of on the low end, that would have probably been out. And then The Mandalorian, even if The Mandalorian stayed steady with like 15 nominations year to year, I like it wouldn't have been able to touch the Crown. But I think now it's actually competitive, even though I'm still saying it's gonna be The Crown probably.
And I can't believe I've gone this long without mentioning Gillian Anderson. She got in for The Crown. We all knew it, but yeah, I mean it's good. Still, I mean, can you imagine if she'd been snubbed? So congrats, Gillian.
Well, she's gonna win her 2nd Emmy after like 24 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, so and she should have won one for Bleak House, just saying.
Comedy series, I mean, for me, this is a 2-way race between Ted Lasso and Emily in Paris. Am I wrong?
Yeah, Emily in Paris with that comedy series nomination and that crucial, I think, costumes or cinematography. Like it got literally one other nomination, and it was a craft category. It wasn't writing, directing, or acting. I don't know how it made the 6.
Production design.
I don't know how it made the 8. I just don't. Like when it doesn't have support from any of their field, and there were other shows that didn't get in that had more nominations elsewhere, as in like any nominations elsewhere. That's a really weird nomination. I think it's Ted Lasso. I think Hacks is your runner-up there, but I think it still feels very much like your runner-up, because Ted Lasso way over, like 4 supporting actors got in. It got in multiple times for writing and directing. 20 nominations total. Hacks got 15, so it's looking really good and really competitive in some races.
And we knew Jean Smart and Hannah would get in, but they nominated Carl Clemens Hopkins and Jane Addams, and hardly anyone was predicting those folks.
Yeah, and I think Hannah, like the strength of Hacks means Hannah has a shot against 2 Ted Lasso actors, although I think Hannah Waddingham is still is a solid enough choice for that, that I don't think she'll split votes with Juno Temple. But I don't think Hacks got enough where it makes me think it's really going to pose a threat to Ted Lasso. I do think it locks in Jean Smart for Best Actress. Like if that looked like a 2-way race with Kaylee Cuoco, no offense, Kaylee Cuoco, it looks like Jean Smart is going to run away with that now.
And Kaylee Cuoco, she just got her very first Emmy nomination. So congrats.
Very first
She's been
ever.
working forever.
Her
For her
first
whole
two, I
life.
believe. Her first two, I believe, because I believe she's a producer of
Oh, yeah.
Flight Attendant as well, which was nominated for Best Comedy Series. Those producer credits for the nominations haven't been made official yet, but it's almost a certainty that she'll be on that list too.
And one other category I wanted to talk about before we wrap up, Best Limited Series. A lot of people are just confident that Queen's Gambit's going to win, and it did get a lot of nominations, don't get me wrong, but Mayor of Easttown is the hot new thing. And I'm wondering, with that Evan Peters nomination, I'm wondering if it could overtake Queen's Gambit. Because look, Mayor of Easttown is probably going to win the Golden Globe, if there are Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice. I think Kate Winslet's going to win the SAG Award. So it's going to win a lot coming up where Queen's Gambit's already won. So what do you think?
I don't know why you didn't mention Wanda Vision in that sentence, because the calculus in this category completely changed with those Wanda Vision nominations. And again, it's like The Mandalorian in the sense that, well, okay, you can write off the fact that it got a lot of tech nominations. It's Marvel. It's going to have huge effects and all of that sort of stuff. But again, 3 nominations for writing. It's nominated for directing. It's nominated for the main act. It's on par in terms of acting categories with Mayor of Easttown and The Queen's Gambit. So it's looking stronger than I thought it was going to, and it could win.
So what are you going to predict right now? You're also a big fan of
I haven't decided. I haven't decided yet. I don't think I May Destroy You can win. I think it could maybe surprise in writing or directing.
Yeah.
I don't think it can win. I think it's really going to be those 3. But I'm not sure what I'm going to predict right now. Queen's Gambit got everything it needed. It missed out a couple of actors, but instead it swapped them for other people we weren't expecting. Like Marielle Heller misses, but Moses Ingram gets in. Bill Camp misses, but Thomas Burry Sangster gets in. So it's kind of like even. Mayor of Easttown got the people we were expecting. WandaVision got the people we were expecting. But WandaVision did so much more below the line. It's I don't know. I'm gonna flip a coin. None of them missed where you would expect them to hit.
Right.
And they all hit where they needed to. I might put WandaVision on top for now. While I process these and look exactly what other categories these things are in, like casting. I think actually all 3 of them are in for casting as well. So that doesn't help.
Right.
So it's tricky. Like this would be the 2nd year in a row with a superhero show winning limited series after Watchmen. So that's it seems entirely plausible.
Well, do you have any final thoughts? I mean, we are going to come back and do more slugfests in the coming weeks. We're going to do maybe category by category or genre by genre. We're going to get to as many categories as we can.
Well, yeah, a couple of, as I've been scrolling through the list, there's always interesting nominees in categories you wouldn't expect. So you've got Stacey Abrams is nominated. The first, I believe, I feel safe, and I haven't done the research, but I feel safe in saying she's the first Georgia gubernatorial nominee to ever be nominated for Best Character Voiceover Performance. So that's an interesting one. Zach Braff is one of the nominees for Ted Lasso. He directed one of the directing nominees. So I believe this is his first nomination since Scrubs. So that's really cool. And yeah, again, we are just processing these as we go. I'm scrolling down this list on the side, guessing who are the lighting design, lighting direction nominees.
Stacey Abrams, I wanted to mention her. That's a tough category because I think Seth MacFarlane is back, but you also have the late, great Jessica Walter and Julie Andrews for Bridgerton. I don't know what I'm going to predict when we finally open the Creative Arts Prediction Center, but I may go with Julie Andrews there.
And you've also got last year's winner, Maya Rudolph, for Big Mouth. So she could win that again.
Oh yeah, easily. Okay, everyone, that is our last minute slugfest of the 2021 Emmy nominations. Please comment below how great we did or how awful we did. And we will see you again in the future. Go make your predictions at Gold Derby right now. You could do the Emmy the Emmy winners, and you could also do the box office results, RuPaul's Drag Race, Big Brother, and lots of things. So thank you for watching.